To the radio Misfits. I am Pugs Moran. Hi, James. James is here.
Hello, sir.
Now, James, the reason I am dark is because I see you're not participating in Cute Outfit Week. I thought that was enough of a hint last night that maybe you would put on a cute outfit, that maybe you would just put together your cutest of outfits.
I don't think I have a cute outfit.
Oh, James. It's not about the outfit actually being cute, because that's subjective. It's about how cute do you feel in your outfit. James, you could show up wearing a bunny costume. That would be perfectly all right and in step with Cute Outfit Week.
Can I change this green color in the caption here?
Why you want to change the green color? What's the problem with that? That's an interesting thing for you to have a problem with. It's just a random color. And no, I don't have a problem with it. First, you don't participate in Cute Outfit Week. Then you want to start changing colors for no reason. Please, have at it.
Thank you. More like kind of matches I want to match the RMS.
Oh, look at that. See, I'm running my mouth here. Why? Because I am uber confident in my cute outfit. Look at me in tonight's cute outfit. Now, as I said, all of my cute outfits will incorporate a tie because for some unknown reason, the person who put together all of my cute outfits that I am now, I don't know. I went through all my winter clothes and stuff, and I'm going out now, James, now that I'm a stand-up comic here on the local scene, right? So I need cute outfits. So I went into my little file that she made cute outfits for me a long time. I explained it all yesterday. This James is to be worn with some jeans. I'll have you know it is a purple checkered shirt with a solid blue tie. She likes that there's a little off coloring in the blue. But then here's the piece de resistance that she really thinks makes it all work. She likes the distressed corduroy brown jacket. Why, you ask? Because the distress in the corduroy reveals a purple undertone. Oh my God. Dude, this is how girls think. How are you tonight? I mean, guys would never look at clothes and think like that, right? Like there's no way.
Well, some guys would, but they bat left-handed or whatever you want to say.
Well, okay, yes, maybe there are some guys. What I'm saying is a man that fits the prototypical American, that's not really something. We don't look for the highlights in the distress to match with a tie and shirt combo.
Well, I did wear a brown corduroy jacket at my TV job today.
So you were looking, did you feel cute?
I never feel cute.
You never feel cute? Never feel cute. Okay. All right. That's unfortunate because I can tell you feeling cute is good feeling. All right. What's going on tonight? How you doing? What you think? You think I'm going to dwell on how cute I look? No, I'm confident. Let's do radio. Let's do talk radio.
Man, so I had to report on one of these dumb surveys. I mean, they're not dumb. I'm just being a dick. But it said that 1 out of 3 cohabitating couples sleep in separate beds. And that number sounded really high. And, I was trying to, I don't know. I see, because I am one of the most guilty people about getting wrapped up in my own bubble and just projecting whatever I think. Everyone else must agree with me because it makes sense to me.
Oh,
and
your emerging self-awareness brings me such great joy. Yes, that is how people see you.
Well, no, I've had to battle with this for a long time because I find it incredibly frustrating that during the summertime I would prefer to watch soccer rather than baseball, and I know I'm wildly outnumbered in that.
Yeah, communist even.
Yeah, and politically speaking, I'm a libertarian. Like I went and looked at issue by issue. I'm like, well, clearly this is the right answer, and like nobody agrees with me, right? No.
I got a couple issues where I'm like that too, and I just don't know because it makes such perfect sense to me. Why is it that everybody doesn't agree?
And one of the big ones, like one of the biggest ones that makes me feel like an outcast in my own country is how, like, when you look at the ratings for TV or even what's streaming, like 5 out of the top 10 shows are solving crimes, like true crime or trying to solve this mystery or Law and Order or Cold Case or CSI, or there's just like 1,000 of them.
Procedurals. Because here's what they offer, and this is why they're popular: a beginning, a middle, and an end. Every episode there's a crime, like Law and Order. Why is Law and Order so popular? Because you know that at 28 minutes into Law and Order, they're going to switch over from the police side of things to the law side of things, and you're going to see the conclusion of the police investigation. It's bite-sized. People like that.
I find that one of the most banal, unentertaining genres in all of showbiz. I can't stand it. And
episodic. Yeah, I don't like episodic TV at all.
Well, I don't even matter that it doesn't even matter that it's episodic, because there's a lot of shows that are episodic that I like, but just that whole it feels like I'm watching Scooby-Doo. Like, Jeepers Kids, we hope we can solve this mystery.
Right. It feels simple. It feels like this shouldn't be enticing me. This seems like
I can also admit that for most of the people watching or whatever, I'm wrong. Like, yeah, I only 2% of the population agrees with me on that. So it's another thing where I am out of step culturally, whatever taste with the rest of America.
I'm intrigued by something you said there. You said that there are shows that are episodic that I do like. Can you think of any? Because the only one that I can think of that is purely episodic and doesn't rely on the previous episode or any episode that occurred before is Seinfeld. And I love Seinfeld, and that is really episodic. There might be a mention of a character from another, but none of the episodes bleed into each other. Cheers is, I would say, not a good example of episodic, because there are a number, and you're a big Cheers fan, there are a number of episodes that run in a story arc that can encompass an entire half season.
Right.
So,
right.
So what is an example of a show with? Because I usually find those to be
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pin you down. Go ahead. Continue.
That's all right. It's Simpsons and Family Guy.
Simpsons, great example. Yeah. Simpsons is a great episodic show. Those would be the examples. The what do they call it? The exceptions that prove my rule.
Okay, so back to the original thing that sort of bothered me, because I thought I was in the overwhelming majority on this line of thought, and like, not only do people sleep in separate beds, they sleep in separate rooms, and they're just ecstatic about it. They recommend it. They call it a sleep divorce. And let's see, look, I bet you there's already people who look. Here's one. Boom. Did I hit it? Okay, here it is. Yeah. So Brandon, snoring alone counts for a big part of the 1 out of 3. Yeah. So when you go break it down, there is a big chunk of them that snore. Some of them have to have CPAP machines, so it's like Darth Vader noises over there. I don't know. I really don't know what a CPAP machine does.
You will.
Maybe one of these days.
They're becoming very common. Yeah.
Yeah, and so another is just the flat out preference of, I don't want someone just kicking me or throwing their arm on me, or like, I bother my wife sometimes, because especially in the summer, I'm a really hot bear. I produce a lot of heat, and then like, if I get all mushed up against her, then she gets hot, and then we get sweaty, and then it's kind of gross, right?
Yeah.
It's not comfortable for her, and understandably so. It's just I'm asleep and I don't know any better, so I kind of do that thing where when I'm asleep, I pull her toward me. But I like that. I think that's great. I think it's one of the best parts about being married or having a partner, is that you don't have to sleep alone. I love sleeping with someone else. Like, that's like a big chunk of the fun.
Okay, and that's you. and I can tell you that I completely understand this. I know two couples that I'm friends with. How do we get rid of that one? I wanted to replace it.
Well, I can just take that off. What do you want to replace it with?
Yeah, nothing. Never mind. All right, moving on. I know two couples that have separate bedrooms. They sleep in separate. They've been married. Kids are out of the house. They're old. Any number of reasons. I don't know. You don't cross-examine your friends about this stuff. It's just the way it is. They're incredibly happy. My grandparents lived in separate bedrooms my entire life. Wow. Yeah. Grandma slept in one bedroom. Grandpa slept in the other. I get it. I don't like sleeping with other people. If I was in a long-term relationship with somebody, if I was still married, I would absolutely be one of those people who are like, what's this you're saying about a private bedroom? I would totally want my own private bedroom.
Well, you were married twice. Did you do it before?
We completely yes. The sleeping situation was a big problem. I slept on the couch most of the time by choice, because I prefer to sleep alone, and because I stayed up much later than both of my wives. So they'd be going to bed at like 10:30, and I'd be up until 2. It just wasn't good. There are some people who are not built to the same standard that you seem to be projecting. So
Dude,
nothing
you
wrong
have
with
a hot
that.
chick in your bed. You don't want to just like crawl up
No,
all on that. And
no, because you get past that unless you're a fucking animal.
you
Yeah,
said
but
you
you
get
can.
past it. It never
How
gets
long you
old.
been married? You pumped out like 5 kids. You're still like, "Grr." I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad. I just think that that's abnormal, and
Well,
you are projecting it like it's normal.
Bill Clinton agrees with me. He's still chasing it.
Yeah, I think he has a sex problem, and I think you would agree.
Well, I mean, what are the negative consequences he suffered because of it? None.
I don't know. You know,
It depends on if you believe if he raped those chicks, then he does have a sex problem. And yeah,
okay. Let's move on.
let's not touch that one. So I am shocked that you and so many of because I have other close friends that say the same thing you do, and the fact that I just slept on the couch because I prefer that than
Doesn't mean anything.
you don't want to sleep in a bed with a hot chick and some chick is like
Again, she's not a hot chick. She's my wife and my son's mother and all that. You can go. I don't know what's going on here. I'm glad that you still see your wife that way, and I'm certain she's even more happy to hear you saying it. But that is not the norm. Okay.
No.
A dude who's been
Okay.
married to a woman 20 years doesn't see the woman's hogging the covers as a hot chick in his bed. That's just not how it works. And it's not a slight. He loves her more than anything else, but it's not what you're projecting.
So does your interest in when your interest in your wife falls off
Sexually?
does it for all chicks or just for her because you're around her so much?
No, it's just her. It's just her.
Oh, you're still interested in other chicks.
Oh, yeah.
You have
Man,
a very short shelf life for your interest in any one person.
right. Well, that's a very normal thing. And actually, it's probably the norm. It probably happens in most relationships. The guys around 50, they're not so banged up about hitting their wives anymore. It's like they're all, and the wives aren't as excited about this. Is not just one-sided. It's not like, oh, these poor women. No. But then again, I have some very controversial and provocative views on this. I believe in an open relationship if that's what somebody wants in the relationship. Sex is an act of conquest. That's it. To me, anyway.
There's no love involved.
There can be, absolutely. But 99.9% of sexual intercourse, there's no love involved. Are you trying to say there is? Come on.
Well, you don't get sick of eating pizza, do you?
Of course I do. Of course. Of course.
Yeah, but how long could you go without eating pizza?
A lot. Are you saying that I wouldn't enjoy a weekend with a supermodel in a 4-star hotel? Of course I would. But, at some point, she's going to get irritating. And I'm going to want to go watch TV. So, yes, that is what I'm saying to you. Even the best things. And I think it's wonderful that you have this insane thing with your wife. I'm just saying it's not
an insane thing. This is kind of the norm. No, you fall in love and she doesn't stop being.
Divorce rates are like 50-50. So obviously it's not the norm. And most of the marriages that remain are not happy. So this is not the norm. This is not. You're lucky. You're very lucky. I'm starting to think you're right when you say you'll never get a divorce. I used to chuckle to myself about that. But I'm starting to think that maybe you two kooky kids are just the exception that the world needs.
Well, I would also like to say that having a solid, happy marriage has been really easy. Like you don't have to work very hard at it. It kind of comes natural. And
you understand why people want to kick you in the fucking face for saying that, right? You do understand this, James.
But this is how I feel like for 90% of my waking life. I'm like, why isn't everyone a libertarian? This is clearly the way we should arrange the matters of state.
Look at you. You brought everything back to your point of not understanding why everybody doesn't see things as obviously as you do. Look, here's what you're doing. This is the great disgrace of this, okay? You think you're being cute and you think you're being funny and maybe you think you're scoring points with your wife by saying it so publicly. But what you're really doing is you're taking the special of what you have for granted. You're just like, what? Everybody doesn't do this. You are squandering the fact that you are in an incredibly special situation. That's how
if you had Scarlett Johansson in a year or two, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to sleep on the couch.
I don't know. Is she obnoxious? I mean, see, you are saying it's just all about physical sexual attraction. And I'm saying, no,
I'm not saying it's all about that, but you could have like, what if she's cool to hang out with?
Okay, then great. Then probably no. Then yeah, I would probably stay with her. But what there are a lot of moving parts in a relationship that don't just depend on whether or not she can make me erect.
Okay. I'm not just, she's not real farty or anything.
That's not a deal breaker for me. That's a natural body function. Remember, I'm the guy that believes that a relationship is finally crossing the Rubicon once you're pooping with the door open. If
no one ever does that. No one that.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, it's awful.
Way more than you. Yeah,
I'm not comfortable with that.
I
This
know.
conversation's got just really icky. So what you're telling me is that you are incapable of a long-term monogamous relationship.
No, I'm incapable of a long-term monogamous relationship inside the template of what society deems success. Meaning, I'm certainly capable of being I'm in a long-term monogamous relationship with a number of people. We're not having sex or anything, but they're people who I love and I care about. And could I live with somebody? I think is what you're saying. Could I share a bedroom and could I live with somebody? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I want that.
It sucks.
From where you are, for me, it's paradise. For me, it's nirvana. This is what people don't understand. The whole world doesn't walk in your shoes. We're all different. Everybody's different.
Is it paradise? Did you, like, as a little kid growing up, say, man, I can't wait to, like, not meet anybody and just grow old by myself? And
what does that mean, not meet anybody? I'll be fucking dating into my 70s. What do you mean not meet any? I'd say this is what do you think, that I'm just a hermit with all these cute outfits?
Good point. That's
no. See, you are making it sound like this is some like I'm some, what do they call it? What are those guys who
incel?
Incel, yeah, like it's some like sad old man internet incel thing. That's not me and never been me.
You're not part of the Reddit group Incel OL?
No, I'm not. I'm out in public a lot. I meet a lot of people. I have no problem. I have no problem talking to people I'm interested in. But do I want to be in a long-term relationship at the moment? Hell no, I have nothing to offer. And I'm more interested in getting my kid a scholarship. So I'm just going to focus on him in the next 3 years of high school so that, save a little cash.
Are you asexual now? Jeff just accused you of being asexual.
I'm still a pandemic virgin.
That's gross. Why would you?
Haven't had sex with a woman since March. Since the lady who put together my cute outfits, James. Maybe that's why I'm putting my new cute outfits on. No, totally.
That's like over 3 years.
I don't know. I've had a lot of options. I've had a couple, that's not a thing for me. I mean, anybody who has it, it's absolutely not a thing for me. Have you never heard any of my ex-wives on the radio talking about how I'm like just totally about a 2 on the sex meter? I'm not sexually driven, never have been. I mean, that is not breaking news.
I know.
But you're oversexed. Like that's why I see these guys that are all like, "God, titties and beer," and I'm like, "You're a fucking idiot."
Oversex is like the guy who sleeps around and tries to sleep with like people at work, and I can contain it to one chick, so I am adequately sexed. Thank you very much.
And you know what? That's another part of it. I will lose interest. I am not really. I've learned in 2 marriages, no matter how much I love an individual, when it comes to when I do want to have sex, I don't necessarily just want to have it with the same person.
That's the part that I find weird. How do you lose interest? Like,
you find it weird that men want to have sex with a bunch of different girls?
No. I find it weird that this one chick is totally hot and you want her and you finally get her. And then after you have her for a while, she ceases to be hot. No, she doesn't cease to be hot. How do you come to that evolution?
How could that be accurately answered? Who knows? You want to go sit down with a therapist and break through the wants and why at some point you lose interest in these things? I mean, it's very complicated stuff. I couldn't even begin to answer that. And it's not a given. It's just I know who I am and what I am comfortable being. And really, at this stage, I'm not interested in being a part of a team.
So there's give me the odds on you getting married again ever.
50-50.
Oh, that's higher than I thought you would do.
I mean, I would get married. Like my mom just got married. My mom got married to my dad. He was killed when I was 6 months old. She was single. She turned down any number of proposals throughout my life. And then at 74 years old, she met the most awesome guy ever, and she's married and happy. So, I mean, I look at that and I go, that's how you do it. You don't get bothered all the years when you want to do shit. I'm sorry, but I don't want to get into it. But there's just nonsense that comes with being married that I am glad not to be associated with. I think it's lovely if you're willing to put up with it. That's all.
Yeah, I find those super late in life marriages. It's not like it's distasteful, but it's sort of like a consolation prize. I'm sure it's genuine. I saw my grandfather do it. He got
That's
remarried when he was like
that is one of the most awful things. So old people finding love together in their sunset years is distasteful.
No,
James.
no,
That's exactly what you just said.
No, I specifically said I don't want to say I find it distasteful.
Okay, you didn't want to say it, but you said it. That's what you mean when you say it that way. I don't want to say this is what I think, but I don't want to say it.
Well, I'm trying to find a better word.
I know you didn't mean it. I'm trying to.
It doesn't seem to fit into the paradigm of what marriage is supposed to be. Marriage is supposed
paradigm. See, this is the thing. This is this cocksuredness of like you, and you project your worldview as being the only. You don't accept that others are allowed to have free choice and make their own choices and define marriage any way they want. Let's do it. What do you care?
I totally accept that.
Right. So then why do you feel you need to be critical? Why do you feel you need to stand in judgment and make these people watching right now feel bad about it? That's the inclination that I disapprove.
No, this is like if you get married in your 70s, like God love you, I'm happy, you're happy, and it's a beautiful thing in its own right. But it's also
distasteful though.
But it's also like you drove a golf cart for the first 25 miles of a marathon and then got off and be like, we're going to spend the rest of our lives together for the last 1 mile of a marathon.
And again, I'll ask, what's wrong with that?
It doesn't deserve the same sort of glamour or merit that the people who get married and actually spend their entire lives together. Like it's a bigger commitment when you get married at 30 versus 75. I'm going to be with you till death do you part, which may be in like the next 4 years.
They die.
Yeah, it's not nearly as big of a commitment.
No, you can't possibly meet somebody better. Like you don't think there's anyone better. Well, I'm not going to put you in that position, but you're not. I mean, that's the truth. Dudes been married 2-3 times. They're like, yeah, no, my second wife was the best one. That was the one I blew it with. Or you hear it all the time. Who knows?
Well, I find those guys fascinating. The ones that have been married 3-4 times. It's like,
again, man, your condescension and your superiority on this subject. All I'm saying is you could very easily be cruising for a bruise, and life doesn't seem to have given you any real issues. You've got lovely, beautiful kids. They all seem healthy. You got a great marriage. You scoreboard us every night with this kind of stuff, and we're happy for you. We are. But man, life is fucking cruel, and it's out there, and tomorrow could be the worst day of your life. So that's why I just
Okay, so let me give you my own grandfather as an example, just so you think I'm not just throwing barbs in the dark. I mean, I'm throwing them at my own family here. This is my lineage.
All right.
So this dude went through some chicks. Now, you're not going to believe my grandfather was into women. Whoa, so weird. All right, so it starts when he was in high school. He knocked up a chick. They had a shotgun thing annulled against my grandfather's wishes because he was too brown. So then he goes, graduates high school and goes into the Navy. Just wants to get the hell out of Laredo. And when he's in some sort of training, whatever, in I think it was San Antonio or whatever, he had like a one-night stand with a chick, had a baby, and we didn't find out about it until 2002. After that, he meets my grandmother. So now he's only like 22, but he's on the third chick that he's about to procreate with. Okay. And so they get married. They stay together for like 18 years. And then he has an affair on her and he marries his next wife. And then they stay together for like 20 years. And then she has an affair on him and leaves him. And he gets remarried for like the sort of fifth wife-ish situation that he's had in his 70s. Now, when he dies and goes to heaven and he's supposed to be paired with his soulmate, which one of these chicks are we supposed to talk about? These two souls are going to converge and live happily ever after into the afterlife, I don't
know. That sounds like a problem for someone who believes in that nonsense.
Right. That's such the complications of having faith.
Yeah. All right. Here, I got something I want to do. I wanted to do this last night. Are we ready to move on, or you want to finish with your grandpa's story of horniness spread across?
Well, look, but a lot of that kind of explains me, because one of the big shocks when I find out that 1 out of 3 cohabitating couples sleep in separate beds is like, you don't just like when you're in the middle of the night and you kind of half wake up and then there's like a booty there and you just like want to pull it into you and just like hug on it. And I don't know. And I don't mean a booty. I mean like, a pretty.
No, I know what you're saying. I love you two crazy kids. I hope it works out.
Of course it's going to work out.
Oh, I know. Of course. I know. Of course.
Divorce only happens to other people. It can't happen.
I know. All right. So here, speaking of, you've got a couple of kids. I got a couple of kids. I want to share something.
Wait, how many people have this story? Because whenever I tell this story about we find my mom's long lost sister when she was 50, I think like 1 out of 5 people have wayward stories like that. Cuckoo's eggs. That's what happened to my birth father. I just found out about him recently. Passed away 2015. Oh, never got to me and things like that. Yeah, that happens a lot.
I mean, look, a lot of people come from shamelessly irresponsible and promiscuous stock. I, however, do not. So no, I wouldn't know anything about having those kinds of morals.
Well,
genetic makeup.
Al, far into adulthood, finally got to meet siblings that he didn't know he had.
Oh, that would be wild. Oh, I would love that.
It was cool. My mom found out that she had a sister in 2002 that lived in San Antonio, and so now I have new family that just got added on, and she has a kid who's about my age. So I have a cousin that I didn't know about. This is great.
There you go. I got a bunch of family I don't know about, but I don't care. Don't need to know about them because remember,
because that's I'm
comfortable being a loner. All right, here, I want to talk about this. I want to show you something. I want to go through this because I don't know what the hell this is.
This isn't the Tranifesto, is it?
No, no, this is something. Believe it, it was brought to my attention by Gordon Keith, of all people. Gordon Keith shared this on Twitter. I want to show you this. But first, I think it needs to be set up. I got kids.
You're gonna have to do it. I can't do it.
You got kids. I got kids. You got kids. Sometimes, I mean, I guess our parents felt the same way, right? I mean, we come from slightly different generations, a couple of years apart. But I'm sure my parents saw the stuff that we were into and were like, "What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?" Are you familiar with what an NPC is in computer gaming?
Oh my God, yeah.
Of course.
A non-player character.
Right. So it's the background characters in these. This is one of the most popular people on TikTok, okay? What's her name? I don't know. I'll tell you her name in a minute. But I want to show you what she does, and I want to show you how she makes, I don't know, 100 times what you and I make combined in a year. She makes in a week. Okay?
Still not that much.
No, she does.
No, I mean 100 times what we make is not like an astronomical amount.
Well, she makes it. Yeah,
we're having a slow year.
All right, so let me show you this. This is the NPC trend that is taking over TikTok, and kids are doing it, and it's just driving adults nuts because grown-ups have no idea what this is. So here, let me show you this. God, here's what I want to say. Because of this digital stuff, James, wrap your mind around this. Before we watch this, let me just tell you this. What if in 1,000 years, like the Dead Sea Scrolls or something, they just find this one random thing as sort of indicative of what life was like in 2023? The hell are they going to think of us? What if this becomes the Bible for a race of people that occupy this rock in 20,000 years? Watch this. What must they think of us? Here we go. So this is the NPC trend.
Ready to yes. Okay, money gun, I got your name. Wow, a lot of gift for you. Yes. Hee-haw, yes, you gotta feel like a cowgirl. Let me write it down. Hee-haw, yes, you gotta feel like a cowgirl. Let me write it down. Oh, take it, baby, this is so cute. Yes. Go crazy. Ooh. Yes. Hee-haw, yes, you gotta feel like a cowgirl.
James, any questions so far? Just is there anything you'd like to
I'm getting a definite NPC vibe off of this, but I don't know if that's from a specific game.
I don't know. But how are they getting paid off? I have no idea how they're getting paid off this. Here, let me show you something. Actually, let's move forward in this because I think there's some other examples. Yeah. Okay. So it's gonna. Okay. So she does this for 7 straight minutes. All right. Here we go.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good. Ooh, balloon. Gang, gang, gang.
Okay. All right. So there's her. Now we're gonna see some more. What is this? Oh, for Christ's sake. Come on. Let's go.
Tap, 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 tap.
Hi, Bear. Hi, Bear. So strong.
Thank you for the corgi. We'll put it with the rest. Thank you for the time.
I win, Carmen.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
For the perfume.
Groovy notes, groovy notes, groovy notes, groovy notes.
Okay, again, just so people are clear on what these are. These non-player characters, they're in the background of video games that kids play and you play as well. Come on, we're not all that old.
Yeah.
But they do repetitive motions. They can interact with you as the character in the game in a very limited way. Like they know who you are, so they might say hello, 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 and they move in like robotic ways. Let me show you one more thing because this is a girl who's considered the best at it, and I want to get into this, but I want you to show this girl does it in public. Here, let me.
I think the sort of third dimension that you should mention here is that it's not cool on its own. It's only cool when you flip through it. That's when it actually becomes a thing, and they're all doing it with the realization that no one's going to be sitting there watching them for 19 minutes do the Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat ready stance.
So here's the headline. People are pretending to be NPCs on TikTok, and it's not just weird, it's also lucrative. All right, now let me show you the girl who kind of started it all off, or at least they say. Because I think she's really good. Hold on, we gotta wait for this damn thing to. Oh, there it is. It just came back. All right, here is this her? Yeah, this is her. Okay, so I think this girl is really good. Let's see if we make sure we can see it. All right, now she looks like an NPC, and this is what she. Look at
that is awesome.
I love how she runs.
Yeah, it takes like 2 steps and then stops. Oh my God.
So this is considered the girl who like started the craze, and she does it in public. But now there's a whole bunch of other people who are doing it, not in public, but just sitting in front of their cameras, and somehow they're making money at it. Like this one. Let's check out this girl. All right, let's see what she's doing.
A lot of give.
Oh,
Hee-haw, yes, you gotta feel like a cowgirl. You ready to turn? Yes, you gotta feel like a queen. Slay, huh? Gay.
Okay, James, can I just ask you something?
Yeah.
I've been watching this girl now for a couple of days. Is she sexy?
Yes.
Yeah, she is, right? Like, there's just something unexplainable. Look, I browbeat you over being an oversexed, freaky guy, but there are just triggers. I'm a normal man. I'm a heterosexual man.
Well, it's not how I had to contemplate that very complex question for about 0.2 seconds.
She's really hot, and she really is. She's great. All right, let's keep watching.
Well, the funny part is when you spend hours running around these games and talking to just bumping into random people on the street in Grand Theft Auto, and they just say whatever NPC line that that is something that I don't want to say it sort of substitute for your reality, but it kind of is your reality for a while, and it gets on your nerves, and then they are just stroking that hilarious vein that the programmers have a finite amount of time and can only give the NPCs so much character and animation, and they're not going to spend time making sure like she's actually licking the ice cream like the chick was doing in the TikTok video. So it's hilarious to see someone point out just the tiny little differences between NPCs and real life. To see a real life person do it is hilarious.
I love the running. I love the girl who did it on the outside who was
That's how, yeah, because that's how you run in Grand Theft Auto.
I know. It's like so perfect.
Or that's how you run even in like Super Mario 64, going back to there where you would run and then slow down. And there was always a bounce. That's kind of when it started.
Here, let's check this out. Here's some more hot ones.
TikTok Live is certainly one of the weirdest places on social media, and
Ice cream, yum! Kiki Balls.
TikTok Live is certainly one of the weirdest places on social media, and TikTokers like Pinky Doll are bringing that weirdness into the limelight as videos of her and other users acting like NPCs and reciting call and response words for gifts have gone viral. But why is TikTok Live so strange? TikTok's Live feature allows users with over 1,000 followers stream on the app, offering them a chance to show up on For You pages. Viewers are able to purchase and send live streamers gifts, which are then converted into diamonds on the streamer's end, which can then be converted into real money. Because of this, many live streamers will do just about anything to keep viewers watching and giving.
Did you know that's how they make all this money? By just doing dumb stuff? By getting. I had no idea that's how it worked on TikTok.
Now, here's the coolest thing is Spotify and some other podcast platforms are now having issues because something like 18% of people out there listen to white noise when they go to sleep.
Yeah.
And so these podcasters on Spotify just figured out if I just take a 10-minute MP3 of at a low volume,
dude,
people will turn that on and they will just listen to it on a loop. And so it gets clocked for 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours every night. But then you multiply that by just a few tens of thousands of people, and these dudes were making like 20 grand a month because they put up a white noise podcast on Spotify.
My 14-year-old son listens to lo-fi every night to fall asleep. He subscribes to like all these lo-fi channels on YouTube and all of this. He loves it. Also the ambient, you can, if you've got a good sound system, you go to YouTube, and if you want to be like the one that I've used is Miami High Rise on a rainy night. And it's like, it sounds like rain hitting giant floor to ceiling windows.
Okay. So now the trick is your compensation is based on time spent listening, like just from radio.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
And so, cause your time spent listening, they don't call it that, but it dictates the amount of ads that are getting served or the amount of time you're occupying a paid subscriber. Both of those are considered wins by YouTube. And so instead of like, if anyone watches this show from front to back, we get a whole hour's worth of listening. But if we had a white noise channel every night, we'd get 9 hours worth of listening.
We're more, we're less interesting. We're less financially viable than white noise. How's that feel? Sleep well tonight.
Kill me. Yeah.
James, I do want to ask you, since this seems to be something we're doing every night here, who's Henry Wallace? I see you are tributing Henry Wallace tonight. Who is Henry? Now, are you talking about, I don't know what you're talking about, because it's William Wallace is the one, but tell us, who is Henry Wallace?
I want to hear your guess. I thought you were going to guess. I like it when you guess.
Henry Wallace, I don't know, maybe invented something, maybe a politician from the 1800s. I don't know. Who was Henry Wallace? I have no idea.
All right. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt had 3 vice presidents.
Oh, he was a VP. Look at that.
This was the one in the middle.
Did he die or did he do something wrong?
Well, eventually he died.
No, but I mean, why was he in the middle? Why was there a third?
Okay, because Harry Truman pulled the fire alarm at the Democrat convention where the votes were being tallied for vice presidential candidate because he was losing, and then he pulled some strings, and they redid the vote, and Harry Truman stole it from.
That give him hell, Harry.
It worked out for him.
Yeah,
got to drop the bombs. That's all that fun stuff. So Henry Wallace is a hell of a character, though, because Henry Wallace is one of these. He's a complex man. And he was born, his dad was a man of means, and he was like a Republican appointee to something or other. But Henry, when he grew up, became involved in Democrat politics. Not that that's necessarily important. Just he did end up being a vice president to FDR. But to explain how complex he is, his journey through the political spectrum doesn't end there. But anyway, before he got into politics, his family's from Iowa, and they were in agriculture, and his dad was very successful in agriculture, and that's how he got promoted to the Department of Agriculture, or whatever the hell. So he started the Hybrid Corn Company when he was in his 20s, and it was spelled hybrid, like HIBRED, but they made hybrid seeds, like HYBRID. So it's just a play on words.
I'm from the Midwest. I know that logo well.
Okay, so he actually took his father's nice little pile of change and turned it into some real money, and not because he lucked out, because this guy actually knows what the hell he's talking about. This is what he was educated in, and this dude can breed corn like nobody else. Well, he ends up rising through the political ranks and lands himself in the VP spot after the first guy has to bow out. I forgot why Stanton bowed out. Hell, I read it earlier today and I don't remember. But Henry kind of got eccentric on us once he became vice president, or maybe that's just when it came out.
Do tell.
So in the 30s, communication is not what it is now. You can't call someone on a cell phone. You can't even really call someone on a landline if they're on the other side of the planet. Like, that's just not a thing. So when he had to go make some visits, he was also a communist sympathizer, and so he was ecstatic to go see the newly formed USSR in all its glory, and he loved it. He thought it was great, and he's like, all right, cool, I want to go visit Mao Zedong in China. Out there, he's doing great things. And we really don't know what happened to this dude. No one's really written about it. For 2 months, there's like a hole in this guy's story. And when he comes back, and after all the dust settles, he explains himself that he was looking for the lost city of Shangri-La.
Oh, so
can you believe he didn't find it, Pugs?
No,
he
really?
didn't find it. But when he came back, smoking opium and wearing robes, and he grew his hair and beard out like the goddamn Beatles, and he was like this highfalutin CEO and founder of this startup, huge corn company or whatever. And he made it all the way to vice president of the United States. Conglomerate.
No, I'm not kidding. Hybrid is like if you drive through Illinois and Indiana. I don't know about Iowa. I've never made it that far. But you see those signs on all of the rows of corn. Hybrid. When I said I know that logo, that's very common. They make everything. Soybeans, all of it.
I'm so happy that you know that. So when he gets back to America.
Maybe Jeff can echo that. Jeff, we know he's in the cornfields of Iowa. I don't know if,
Jeff could probably back you up on that. Where are you at?
It might be Monsanto country. I think no joke. I think that entire direction, like west of the Mississippi, is all Monsanto.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm a big Monsanto fan.
Jeff can tell us.
I'm the only one. So it's funny because he gets back and he, not to the media, but behind closed doors, has to have a meeting. And FDR's like, explain yourself. We couldn't get a hold of you for 2 months. You couldn't find a telegraph or nothing. And he's like, well, I was looking for the lost city of Shangri-La. So I would like to go tell the media what I found and sort of explain myself. And they were like, no. And he's like, seriously, what are you on drugs now? He's like, well, look, it's not the drugs' fault. I was really looking for the lost. No. And so this guy, I don't know if he really fell off his rocker or he just went through a drug phase, like Grego just decided to pick up drugs in his 40s.
I don't think that's the story you're going with. I don't think he just decided. I think he just started getting caught in his 40s.
Well, he got out of control because if he could maintain through his 20s and 30s, something different happened in his 40s. And just like this guy, something different happened far beyond the age when you're supposed to be experimental and having drug runs and looking for the lost city of Shangri-La. That's something you're supposed to do in your late teens, early 20s, maybe 30 at the latest. But this guy waited till he's vice president to go off the deep end. And I don't know. It's just, I think some people that are on the straight and narrow their whole life are only that way because they've just never taken a hit of something before. And when they do, boom, they go crazy. Well, I think that's what happened to this guy. I think he just went crazy, but I think he got a hold of himself but he had made such a stain, and he was such a
He
liability.
embarrassed himself. That's all. He couldn't come back from it. He flipped his lid a little too publicly. He righted the ship, but it was too late. He's
The public didn't know any of this. The
yeah,
public,
but the people, his people did.
they were worried about the public finding out. They were worried about someone from the New York Times or someone from some media outlet finding out. And so they were like, we really need to get someone else as vice president. And they're like, well, how do you explain to the Democrat voter that we need to push this guy out and push in Harry Truman? They're like, I don't know. And so
Oops.
so they had to steal it from him at the convention. They pulled the fire alarm when the votes were being counted the first time because Henry Wallace was winning, and they were like, we didn't twist enough arms. We didn't twist hard enough. We got to go retwist. We got to stop this. And they literally pulled the fire alarm and redid it at the Democratic convention. So Henry Wallace gets ejected from public life, and then he goes on to have another career. This is like his third reinvention. He makes a egg-laying chicken that becomes the dominant egg-laying chicken for the next 6 decades.
This guy, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, so that's what
Crazy
he did
like a fox.
after he got kicked out of being vice president during World War II from a stolen vote at the Democratic convention. He never found the lost city of Shangri-La, by the way.
Oh, we'd have heard.
That's so annoying. Yeah.
There'd be a Hard Rock there.
Right, I'd have a shirt.
The Hard Rock Shangri-La. All right, James, go ahead. Ask me about mine.
Jesus Garcia.
Jesus Garcia.
Jesus Garcia.
Do you know who Jesus Garcia is, James?
Yeah, he's a designated hitter for somebody.
I was gonna say, I imagine you could know any number of Jesus Garcia, as it's not necessarily a unique name. Probably how about this? I dare say one of the most common names on the planet. I bet Jesus Garcia.
It's probably up there, yeah.
Probably up there.
Well, Garcia isn't it the most common name in Spain?
I thought Garcia. Yeah, I think so.
No, wait, Mexico.
I thought Garcia was like the most common name in the world outside of like China, where it's like, I don't know.
It's like Wang, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what else is Patel is also really big. Like when you look at the most common names in the world, Patel's really big.
Mm-hmm.
See that because of Indian stuff. All right, so Jesus Garcia, what do you got a list? You got a list of the most common names, surnames? I'd be interested in that.
No, I like how flippant we are with things that
we don't know.
Well, yeah, things that some people, I'm not offended, and no one watching is offended, but someone on planet Earth would be very offended by some of the things that we say.
What do we see? This is interesting to me. What do we just say? I don't know. What, Patel isn't the most common name? It's an Indian name. There are a lot of Indians, a lot of Patels.
I know.
A lot of Americans, there'd be a lot of Smiths.
Look, I'm not the one complaining about it.
Nobody's complaining. We're pointing out, see, this is, I hate this. People are so sensitive. They're always looking for what we can't talk about. The first of all, the most common name is a Chinese name. It's like Wu or something. That's not racist to say. Is it racist that I don't know? No, that's ignorance. I'm stupid.
Okay, Garcia in Mexico is second to Hernandez, but they're about tied.
All right. Well, let me tell you about this feller because James, I think he deserves our attention. He's somebody you should know. Jesus Garcia. I'll tell you about Jesus Garcia. James, Jesus Garcia, I talked about him on the noon show today, so you people all know this, but on this day in 1907, James, 1907, Jesus Garcia was the railroad brakeman for the train that covered the line between Nacazari, Sonora, and Douglas, Arizona. So they got this little train that runs between, Mexico and Arizona, and he's the brakeman. Oh, his parents are proud. That's a good job for 1907. Old Jesus Garcia. He's doing his family proud. November the 7th, which would be this very day back in the year 1907, the train was stopped in the town of Douglas, Arizona, and as it was resting, Jesus Garcia saw that some hay on the roof of a car containing dynamite had caught fire. The cause of the fire was the locomotive smoke box was failing, and sparks were going out of the smokestack, and the wind was blowing them into the hay that was stacked on top of the car filled with dynamite. Okay, so you following this? Garcia, Jesus, who's on his break, he notices this. He immediately jumps to the back of the train and drives it in reverse downhill at full steam 6 kilometers out of town before the entire train explodes, killing him, but sparing the entire population of the mining town. Let's hear it for Jesus Garcia, man. Would you do that, or would you just run? Get the hell? I'd be like, get out of here. I don't know that I'd do that. It's a difficult question. I'd like to say that I could be what Jesus Garcia ultimately turned out to be when his rubber hit the road. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would be so noble. I could easily rationalize that out. Like, how many people are going to die? Really? Do I even know that anyone's going to die? What I really need to do is cover my.
Isn't it best that I survive to tell the story? Isn't that? I mean, I'm witnessing it. I should survive to tell people exactly about the hay. First of all, James, who is filling the top of a car filled with dynamite with the world's most known flammable substance of its time? Hey.
Yeah, these people are an insurance nightmare. They are.
We got all this super dry hay. Where should we put it? I don't know. Pack it on top of the dynamite car, like a big wick, just sitting there on top of.
I know, right? It's so dumb. It's like, hey, we're going to build a blimp. What are you going to put in it? The most explosive gas known to man. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong? Nothing. It'll be fine. It's fine.
And then we're going to shoot a cigarette commercial. We're all going to light up at the same time. All right, what do you have? That's Jesus Garcia. He's quite the guy. What do you got there, James?
Well, I have scripts for every day of the year for sort of this day in history.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so
did you not learn about Jesus Garcia? Is your script black?
Jesus Garcia was not in my script, but this is from the old Best Day Ever archives here. But when you go through this day, usually on a day, there's not this much stuff. You see all this? This is a super busy day on this day in history. I don't want to roll through all of these because some of them are kind of boring, but I do want to point out one that I think is cool, or there's two of them I'm going to point out that are cool.
Now, hold on, just to stop you. Do you know that on the noon show, I do this every day, so I may be familiar with these, so I'm not trying to crap on you. I'm just, go ahead.
Oh, sure. No, dude, you're a radio host. You know this day in history, and this is National Saxophone Day or whatever. But it was on this day in 1943, the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants played the last scoreless tie in the NFL.
I did not know that.
Kind of shocked that hasn't happened again since. I've seen a team just absolutely lay an egg in, a shutout loss.
Hey, what day are you looking at, though? What day? Are you looking at the 7th, or are you looking at tomorrow?
I'm looking at the 7th.
Okay, 7th. Okay, I just want to make sure.
All right. I'm surprised it hadn't happened since then. 1943, that's 80 years ago. Really, in 80 years, you just hadn't had two teams have a really bad day and just goose egg it. And I guess not.
I guess not. Trying to see.
Is there any way you could enjoy watching a 0-0 NFL game?
Yes, of course. Yeah, but that's because, I come from a defensive team. I mean, my team is, so a 0-0. Yeah, I could. I would be upset because, I want there to be at least a field goal at the end attempt. But, I mean, I think I have watched. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah.
All right, the next one.
Watching that.
Here's one I find amazing is 1991. This is the day in 1991 Magic Johnson announced that he had AIDS or HIV and he's going to retire from basketball. If you had told James at this age, I guess I was 14 when this happened, that Magic Johnson is still going to be alive in like 30 years, I'd be like, no way. How? Because AIDS was the scariest, most 100% fatal disease in humankind until this dude got it. Now, one thing I've kind of been interested in knowing, but no one goes back and does these little morbid things that come into my head because they're normal people. But I want to know, is he the first guy with AIDS that didn't die within 5 years? Is like, because there's no patient zero. And so at some point it turned from into because it was a 100% fatal disease for a while, and so now just a chronic condition that you can sort of manage.
It always has been a chronic condition since they've made breakthroughs with what was originally called the AIDS cocktail. Now I think it's just a couple of drugs, but Magic Johnson going public and being so high profile with the disease and being publicly high profile with disease, he became an instant ambassador for it, right? So everything that he did was going to be seen as, well, that's what happens when you have it. So he's that guy. But his announcement also coincided with the AIDS cocktail. So we actually got to see how you can live a life if you're HIV positive. That's the other thing. He never had full-blown AIDS, right? We need to make that distinction between people who are suffering from full acquired immune deficiency syndrome and have HIV, which means you could get it. So I'll tell you, I thought was just like you. I remember watching this and I remember being really sad and thinking, man, this is really kind of a sad thing that this poor guy has to go through here. And then like 2 years later, he's playing with the dream team. And then like 15 years later, I see him dunking in a practice with Kobe. Magic Johnson, us watching Magic Johnson do that changed 180 degrees America's overall understanding and perception of AIDS and HIV. Because you're right. We were lied to. We were led to believe that this was the plague that was going to kill everybody. It turned out it was manageable. There had to be some money and effort dedicated to research and creating this cocktail, but it was manageable. It wasn't the death sentence that I thought at 13 years old.
Well, it's not that you
some
thought
people,
it.
unfortunately. The first wave, it was. Those people got wiped out. People died a terrible, sad death. But once the cocktail came in, I mean, they were able to keep it confined.
But yeah, it wasn't that you thought it was fatal. I mean, how many people did we watch die from this thing? You know, Freddie Mercury died about the time Magic Johnson got it. And so, you know, like how close is Freddie Mercury from being saved if he had just, you know.
Well, not just Freddie Mercury. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people that
Who's the most famous.
Here's my problem.
Died from AIDS. Rock Hudson or Freddie Mercury? Rock Hudson?
Rock Hudson was the first, yeah. Freddie Mercury was big. A lot of people died. I mean, there's a lot of people. Ryan White, but he was normal. What?
That was wild, though. It was just taking people, just knocking them out of the sky.
Yeah, in the 80s, in the early 80s, it killed a lot of people. It was really bad. But here's my pushback on it, having been a teenager coming into his own sexual wiles in this time. It was not a good time to be coming of age sexually for my generation. Sex was fatal. We had just come out of the 60s. Our parents were having free love and sex. And then the 70s, all them stoners with their music and all, they were having free sex and all that. And then all of a sudden that got shut down for our generation in the 80s. It was all about condoms and it was all about AIDS. Sex will kill you. James, we were literally led to believe that if I hooked up with a girl that I met at a sorority party, I was probably going to die of AIDS. And I push back on that because that was a lie that we were fed. It really was confined to certain communities. And if you weren't active in those communities, you were pretty safe from it. My entire sexual experience between the ages of, say, 16 in high school and 30 really was just destroyed by this myth that, you know, everyone had AIDS and it was you could get it from toilet seats. It's crazy. It was a crazy time. I hate it.
Yeah, I came in and my coming of age was right after we kind of were sort of exhausted and annoyed.
You guys got freaky. You guys introduced threesomes and butt sex. That was your generation because you saw Magic Johnson dunking. My generation didn't get to see that. We saw Rock Hudson die in Liberace. There it is. Liberace was a big one.
Yeah, I didn't know who Liberace was, though. I didn't really know who he was until he died of it.
He was a big star.
Look,
that's why you were eventually briefed on Liberace. He was a big star.
Someone had to tell me. All right. So this is look, my next story here. I'm gonna throw this name here. Do you know who this is? That name?
I do, but I don't know why.
Yeah, so he last played in the NFL in 2018. He got a suspension for multiple violations on substance abuse, and now he just re-signed with the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
But this is sorry for everyone who can't see his name. It's Martavis Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to throw out there is keep an eye out for names like this, Martavis, because I'm compiling one of the great bits of all time, Black or Roman, and these are the kinds of names I'm looking for. So I have found a ton. I've just got to fill it out to a ridiculous extent, so we could just
What are you looking for here? What is the criteria? Because you dropped out a second.
a name that sounds like it could be either black or Roman.
Roman. Okay, black or Roman. That's kind of like, my thing where it sounds, is this a little black girl or a town in Wisconsin? It's kind of my whole.
Oh, I love that one.
Because all right, let me ask you a question.
Beloit.
Okay, I was going to go with Kenosha, and then I was going to follow up with Sheboygan. But go ahead. Never mind. Your thing is better. I like the Romans.
Because a lot of them the answer is both, for Julius, Julius Caesar, Julius Jones, but there's
and same thing. Down in Wisconsin or a little black girl. There are plenty of little black girls in the south side of Chicago named after Kenosha, Wisconsin, because their parents went there once. And it just feels like a good name.
It's all about the Venn diagram overlapping, because of course there's a lot of Marcuses, and of course there's it's names that are sort of obvious, and then there's names that are sort of obvious in the other direction, like a Barkevius. Okay, well clearly that's not Roman. No one in Rome was ever named Barkevius, but it's all about where the overlap is, because there's Quintavious.
Why? Hold on, stop. Why are you so dismissive about how there could never have been a Bartavius in Rome? Like you put some sort of sophistication in their naming. You don't think
Barkevius? Yeah, there's no Barkevius.
You don't think their names were absurd in Rome, and that sometimes they just made up words that sounded cool? You think they all have some relevance?
Well, I think there were over 6 million cycled through Roman citizens, and none of them were named Barkevius. I'm so solid in that one. In fact,
sounds like it could be one, but okay.
Africa is the second largest continent on the planet, is the cradle of civilization, the home to more than 6,000 cultures and languages, and none of them have named their kid Barkevius.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. See there, that I push back on. That name, Bartavius. Are you talking about Bartavius Mingo?
Barkevius Mingo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a made-up name. That is not a real name. That does not go back to some like West African royal dynasty. No. That doesn't mean anything. You made it up.
But I like the part of American black culture that seeks out these names that could be Roman and sound like Quintavious. I love that name. I think it's a great name. That's in fact, I don't know. I can't think of a Roman guy named Quintavious, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was one, unlike Barkevius. And
let me ask you this, because it is interesting. We should always seek to play both sides, because I've been as irritated with this. What could we make of these white yuppie names of their kids? Whether they're all like I guess Noah is a tap in, but they're all like Masons, like mine. They all have these weird names that are not biblical in origin, and they're just like Cody, Kobe, Colston. No. We got to have something for this group too. What is that?
I have so much smoke for white people and their names, because I am overly annoyed by where I live. I'm just overly annoyed by white.
But what would the correlation be? Because if I got black girls,
here it is. It's Aiden, Braden, Kalen, Dayton, Jaden, Peyton, Caden. Yeah. And there's Addison, Madison, Tradison, Skylar, Myler,
Colson, Colton, Colvin.
And you got to take your kid, and you got to give your kid a last name as a first name. So now your kids are Carson and Hudson and Montgomery and Mason. Taylor and Mason. Right.
I'll include them. Absolutely. I'm shamed by I love the name, but.
And then they do the really dumb thing, like this is a great Barney. You're so right. Apple. Wasn't that Chris Martin, the dude from Coldplay, and
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, but then like Jason Lee had a kid named Pilot Inspector. Like white people do things that are just every bit as cringy, as embarrassing as any other race. So I got smoke for everyone. So don't think there's a race.
No, yeah, and I didn't mean to suggest you did.
I wish we were overlapping with the Romans.
But what are we overlapping with? Like, what are those names overlapping? I got to think about that, because there's a pretension to all of them, and also a nonsense to all of them. Like they're all that anyway. Okay, yuppie kid's name or location of Wild West shootout.
Right.
The Colton, or I don't know what we're stretching here.
So there's De Quartavis.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that black or Roman?
What is the name again?
De Quartavis.
Oh, De Quartavis? De Quartavis is black.
Yes, he is a linebacker for the Giants a couple years ago.
Because that's not real. The Latin D doesn't. That's not okay. Go ahead. I don't want to get into Latin, but
Shatarius.
Shatarius. That sounds Roman.
Shatarius Atwell was a wide receiver for the Louisville Cardinals.
And it sounds Roman.
Yeah, and but look, some of them are great. Some of them are like Hamilcar.
Is that a pro football player? Because I know it's not Hannibal, but it sounds like it could be. And if you were a dumb guy, you might go, "Yeah, that sounds Roman," but I'm going football.
All right, so Hamilcar. I love this one because it is both.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Hamilcar Rashed Jr. Was an outside linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he got released. And then Hamilcar Barca is Hannibal's dad. You know Hannibal with the elephants came over the house.
Yeah,
Hannibal's dad is Hamilcar Barca. And so technically, not Roman, but Carthaginian. Give me a break, dude. I'm trying to make a game here, you ass. But
same thing, same era.
But that's what I'm talking about is like historically speaking, Hannibal is not like some footnote in history.
No.
Hannibal's the guy that almost ended the whole Roman experiment before it got off the launch pad. And
he brought elephants across mountains.
Yeah, right. Probably the first elephants ever to be in the Swiss Alps.
Why he surprised the Romans. People were like, he's not going to bring elephants across mountains. And he brought his elephants across mountains.
But Hamilcar Rashed Jr. means there was a Hamilcar Rashed Sr., which means at some point he looked up what his damn name was and he stuck with it. And so, you know what? There is a connection. It's not a direct connection, but there's no way this guy didn't know that he shared a name with Hannibal's dad, Hannibal Barca's dad. He knew that. And so,
you would hope so. I mean, you would hope so. Maybe did his parents know that he was being named after Hannibal's dad, or they just come up with a cool name?
find it really hard to find a Hamilcar Senior would go with a junior and not look up the name first.
I would tend to agree with you, but I don't account for all people. I don't know what's going on with them.
What about Equanimous?
Well, Equanimous St. Brown is a wide receiver for Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I knew you'd know that one. But doesn't Equanimous, like I could even see somewhere in the one of the Roman census, under Augustus time, somewhere in one of the fledgling provinces, it probably was an Equanimous.
Here, I got one for you. Amun-Ra.
Oh, why are you challenging me, the wide receiver from USC?
Amun-Ra St. Brown, who is Equanimous St. Brown's brother. Amun-Ra plays for the Lions, and Equanimous plays. Yeah, their parents got busy with names. Their parents went.
They're so cool, aren't they?
Yeah.
Cartarvius.
I wonder what. Oh, Cartarvius. I don't know. That sounds like a football player.
It is. He played at Auburn.
There you go. All right.
One of my favorite ones, DeMarvion.
DeMarvion is a football player.
Dang. Yeah. So DeMarvion Overshown. He played for the Texas Longhorns, but in high school, he went to high school called ARP.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's from like 5 miles from where I grew up, like from a little farm I grew up on. I think we have the same zip code growing up. No one from my zip code's ever done anything. So
let me leave you with something. Actually, I'll just pause this. Another suggestion. This is a story I wanted to talk about because I wanted to mention this at the close. But did you see that WeWork filed for bankruptcy today? WeWork once
I did. I saw the headline.
Once valued at $47 billion, it is now, it got delisted. It went under $1 on the New York Stock Exchange. WeWork is a great and fabulous story. And James, this afternoon over dinner, I started watching something I'd been putting off for a long time. Are you familiar with the Apple TV series We Crashed, which it stars Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway as Rebecca and Andrew Newman, the incredibly absurd New York fancy society bullshit hippy dippy yoga doing nonsense people who destroyed this $47 billion evaluation. Anyway, it's fantastic. But what I wanted to mention to you, because you had mentioned it earlier and it reminded me of it. Rebecca Newman, who is the wife of Andrew Newman, or Yeah, is it Andrew? Andrew Newman, who created WeWork. Rebecca Newman is Rebecca Peltro Newman, and she is Gwyneth Paltrow's first cousin. And if you didn't know that she was Gwyneth Paltrow's first cousin, she will let you know in the first 30 seconds of meeting her, because it's so, just for watching how obnoxious these people are. I mean, I hate the elites. I hate that whole society thing. I love to go in there and be a fly on the wall but they are just so I've never seen more reprehensible people in my life. I've only watched one episode, but We Crashed, the story of WeWork, which officially filed for bankruptcy today. We Crashed on Apple TV is pretty good.
How long does it take?
How long does what take?
We Crash.
Oh, the series? I don't know. I think it's a mini series, so I think it's like 6 or 7 episodes. Man. But again, it's Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway. I mean, it's got really a high pedigree. It's pretty good. It's really that Jared Leto's a good actor, man.
He is. How much time a day do you get to watch TV?
I'll do 2 hours now. Oh yeah, I'll get in bed and watch for 2 hours, and then like I said, I watch that during dinner. That's the rest of the time TV's on constantly, but it's just typically on either sports radio because I'm listening as background noise, or on CNN. Okay. But yeah, I'll do like my TV watching comes in now. Like I'll probably make it an hour and a half, however long it takes before the melatonin kicks my ass. But yeah. So I'm gonna watch WeWork. I'm going to try and watch episode 2. $47 billion evaluation, and they drove it all the way down to being less than $1 a share.
We just saw that happen with Cumulus, Odyssey, and iHeart.
Yeah, but this was a good idea. I mean, I'm watching it.
Yeah, this was actually a good idea. Right?
It was just ruined by people who are just obnoxious and don't live in the real world and don't think money has actual value. And, it's just all about your chakra. And we're building a community, James, where people can come and do business. And you know what, James? If you want to run an office here, we're going to have free beer and we're going to have ping pong tables and TVs and when are people doing work, right? That's the thing I didn't get. It's like, yeah, we're building a community. This because she was like, I don't know, there was like a commune and a kibbutz, and they wanted to recreate that for people with offices. And it was just this nonsense idea that people, when left to their own devices, aren't going to slack off and drink the free beer all day, because that's what they did. They didn't work. People just showed up and started drinking beer.
Man, why can't I get in one of those gigs?
47 billion. Some idiot, some investors made that company a legitimate $47 billion. Well, it wasn't legitimate. That's the problem. It wasn't a legitimate evaluation, but that is what it was evaluated at. It's WeWork. It's on Apple TV. It's interesting. Just in the news. So I wanted to see because I didn't know that story. Bye, James. There he goes. There goes James. Folks, be sure and stop by tomorrow at high noon for the High Noon Show. And also come back tomorrow as Cute Outfit Week continues. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow I might go formal. I don't know. We'll see. I have some cute formal. Is there anything else I need to add? No, I don't think so. All right, you guys are the best. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. That was James Parker. I'm Pugs Moran. We are Combined the Radio Misfits. Bye, everybody. See yous. That is all I need. I don't need no 401. I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.